Good evening, I'm Patricia Vallone with a CTV News update. Local and state leaders gather in Prince George's this afternoon for a special event. It was the opening of Metro's New Carrollton office, which will ultimately house 1,400 workers. The site was selected as part of WMATA's regional office consolidation plan, which will reduce the number of Metro office buildings from 10 to 4, thus saving the system $130 million over the next 20 years.
This ribbon cutting aligns with our vision for New Carrollton to become the premier gateway for the entire National Capital Region. It complements the $20.5 million RAISE grant that we received from the U.S. Department of Transportation to build a new train hall here. We want to thank our senators for that. New Carrollton will also be the transportation hub that brings travelers, visitors, workers, and residents from around the region to Prince George's County.
And the New Carrollton site will house Metro's call centers for customer service, Metro Access, and service headquarters for Metro Transit Police. Well, a package of health insurance legislation makes major progress in the Maryland General Assembly. 5 measures before the legislature would give many residents more access to health insurance, including many low-income households. One such bill would automatically enroll SNAP recipients into Medicaid. HB 11 and SB 26 have both cleared their respective chambers.
It is very, very common in Maryland and across the country for some people to be enrolled in SNAP, eligible for Medicaid, and not enrolled in Medicaid. And we will be the first state in the nation to reach those people, get them enrolled in Medicaid. And it builds on our 2019 easy enrollment law that you covered at the time that enrolls people at tax time. We want to make it as easy as possible for people who are eligible or unenrolled to get enrolled in health care.
And tomorrow we'll have more on other health insurance legislation making its way through the General Assembly. For more information on the legislation, you can go to healthcareforall.com. A Lanham Hospital and radiology imaging practice agreed to pay the federal government more than $2 million to resolve allegations that they violated the Federal False Claims Act. Diagnostic Imaging Associates allegedly billed Medicare and Medicaid for the hospital's outpatient cancer screening facility, even though the center was not enrolled in those programs at the time. The claims resolved by the settlement are allegations, and neither facility has admitted liability. Prince George's police arrest a man linked to several commercial armed robberies. 40-year-old James Day of Jessup has been charged in connection with 4 robberies dating back to December of last year. In each incident, Day allegedly demanded money at gunpoint. The businesses he targeted were located in Temple Hills, Suitland, and District Heights. And police identified the victim shot and killed in District Heights early yesterday morning. He's 33-year-old Richard Bentley of Alexandria. Around 2 a.m., Bentley was found shot to death on the roadway in the 6200 block of Atwood Street. Anyone with information on the shooting is asked to contact police. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. We'll be back in just a moment.
In America, millions of people, including children, are facing hunger. I only have $10 in my checking account, but it will be okay. I at least have food because of this pantry. Donna from Washington. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Donna. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
A 30-year-old Gaithersburg man is in custody for allegedly trying to kidnap a child at a school bus stop. It happened yesterday morning at Towncrest Drive just before 7:30. According to investigators, 30-year-old Jamal Germany grabbed a child and pulled them toward an apartment building. Police say several other students intervened and the child was able to break free. The students reported the incident to school staff and Germany was arrested. Detectives are asking anyone who they think that they may have been a victim of the suspect to call them at 240-773-5400. Several Prince George's measures aimed at reforming the county school system passed the House and are now in the Senate. House Bill 432 which passed unanimously, would organize a search committee to replace Dr. Monica Goldson as CEO. The emergency legislation would expand the current 3-member search committee to 7 and would take effect as soon as it's enacted. House Bill 437, which also passed unanimously, would change the school leader's title back to superintendent and create an Office of Integrity. A third bill, HB 1079, would alter school board activities and duties as well as responsibilities. A Maryland lawmaker says she's pleased that the Trans Health Equity Act passed with nearly 2/3 of the vote in the House. Delegate Ann Kaiser of Montgomery County is the lead sponsor of the House version of the bill, which passed over the weekend. It requires Maryland Medicaid to provide coverage to residents seeking gender-affirming treatments in a non-discriminatory way. The treatments include hormone therapy, hair alteration, voice therapy, and physical alteration.
We in Maryland love all people, and we in Maryland aren't going to discriminate and try to make life hard for people. And right now, the transgender community, most of all, but also the broader LGBT community is under attack throughout the country. So it was so important for me to send a message of what Maryland is and what Maryland's values are.
And the Senate is considering a similar measure. Well, Maryland farmers and environmentalists are applauding a bill passed by the state Senate over the weekend. Senate Bill 262 passed by a 45-0 vote. It would require the Department of the Environment to adopt new regulations exempting on-farm composting facilities from certain permits. It would also allow farmers to accept off-site food scraps.
This great opportunity for getting residential and consumer food scraps out of our landfills and out of our trash incinerators and into the soil. And we really love that it was really that win-win-win situation where the environmentalists and the Maryland Farm Bureau are all sitting together on the same table saying, yes, let's let Maryland farmers take more food scraps. They're doing a great job with manure composting. Let's expand it a little bit further.
And the bill passed the House earlier this month. Well, Amtrak has a new program offering cheap tickets for some trains in the Washington-New York corridor. Under the agency's Night Owl program, customers can ride for as low as $5. For example, you can travel between Washington and Baltimore for $5 or Washington and New York for just $20. New York to Philadelphia could cost as little as $10. And the low price is offered on certain trains during off-peak hours only, which is between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. For more information, you can go to Amtrak.com. Still to come, your Tuesday Sports Page report. Stay with us.
Hey, Simon Bugs here. And coming up shortly, the Orioles fall to the Phillies, the Georgetown men's basketball team gets a new voice in the locker room, and the Commanders continue to make moves during the free agency period. So don't go anywhere.
1 in every 500 African Americans in the U.S. suffers from sickle cell disease. 1 in 3 African American blood donors is a match for patients with sickle cell. 1 appointment to donate blood with the American Red Cross can help save a life. Will you be that one? Visit redcrossblood.org/ourblood today to schedule an appointment at a location near you.
Thanks for staying with us. Well, school officials in Montgomery County are reporting an increase in the number of student arrests at schools. Data presented to a county council committee indicates there were 3 arrests in the 2021-2022 school year, but 13 students have been arrested so far this school year. In addition, the number of hate and bias incidents are up. Schools report 65 for all of last year and 100 so far this year, with 42 of those recorded in February. Well, Metro releases new data showing the impact of fare evasion on its transit system. Fare evaders reportedly account for about 13% of trips on rail. Of approximately 321,000 daily riders, about 40,000 evade paying fares. The transit agency says it plans to add new doors and gates to help combat fare evasion. An update on Canella, the dog that was stolen off the porch in her home in District Heights. Yesterday, she was returned to her family. Canella was dropped off at a pet store on Donnell Drive, and an employee contacted authorities. Although Canella is home, police are still investigating the theft. Well, join Stryker for a webinar about the chain of survival in the event of a cardiac arrest. Stryker is a medical technology firm, and it's hosting the webinar this Thursday. Timothy DeLucia is an aquatic safety and compliance specialist with County Parks and Recreation. He'll be a key speaker at the event.
Detection and recognition of an incident and alerting EMS during early CPR and early defibrillation. So I'm going to talk about those and the rest of those and how our team trained and then performed those steps and how we had success.
Again, this webinar is Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Visit the site on your screen to register.
The Orioles are now 12-11 this spring training, and this afternoon they go up against the Boston Red Sox. They will look to bounce back from yesterday's 14-6 loss to the Phillies. In the loss, the Birds tied the highest amount of runs they've given up during the preseason. The Tampa Bay Rays also put up 14 against them at the start of spring training. Switching to college basketball, the Hoyas will look to start anew as they have hired former Providence basketball coach Ed Cooley to be the head coach of the Georgetown men's basketball team. This hiring comes after Patrick Ewing was fired earlier this month following a disappointing 7-25 record. During his time at Providence, Cooley compiled a 242 and 153 record and led the Friars to 7 NCAA tournaments. Meantime, the Commanders continue to make free agency moves by adding defensive lineman Abdullah Anderson. Anderson played for the Atlanta Falcons last year, where he totaled 40 tackles, a sack, and a quarterback hit. The Commanders have also re-signed defensive end F.A. Obada to a one-year deal worth up to $3 million. And wrapping up sports, the Washington Wizards will take the court tonight. They'll go up against the Orlando Magic at 7 o'clock. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. And now let's get a quick check of your 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 39. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, highs near 62. Thursday, mostly cloudy again, but a little warmer with daytime highs near 74. Friday, cloudy with a chance of rain and a high near 63. And now for your community calendar, Bowie State University is hosting its 5th annual Women's Forum. Participate in workshops, hear from speakers, and learn about tools for empowerment and professional development. The event is Monday, March 27th from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Campus Student Center. For tickets, use the link on your screen. And that is CTV News for now. I'm Patricia Vallone. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.
My name is Jacqueline White. I am Northern Arapaho. I was hired to build partnerships in the Wind River Reservation so that we can have food pantries here and work with the tribes. One of the elders told me, there is no higher honor for our people than to give one another food. I feel so blessed to be able to help people with food on this reservation.
One dog, one cat, 3 bundles.
Food is sacred to our Arapaho people. We utilize that food in all of our ceremonies.
How many children? 9.
For those that will partake, it could nourish their heart, their mind, their body, their spirit. That nourishment that it has, that comes from Mother Earth. We have that respect and love for it.